Hi everyone, welcome back. Today's video is going to be a little bit of a spring cleaning makeup declutter, which my friend Sam just filmed over on her channel, so I thought I would follow suit. Now, I have mentioned before that I tend to declutter quite a bit, like roughly weekly I'm getting rid of product, but I have started to notice that my drawers are starting to get a little bit too full, so I want to go through it and make sure that everything that I have in my drawers and in my collection is stuff that I am using, because I don't keep product that I don't touch. If there's no reason for me to own it, I get rid of it. So my collection is very much stuff that I love. Now, there's a lot of products that I review and like, but unless I love it, there's no point me keeping it. So you might see me getting rid of products that I have mentioned that I like before, and that's perfectly fine. But unless a product is a true love, I very rarely tend to keep it, just because I only have a finite amount of space in my collection. So let's dive straight into the declutter. So my main goal is going to be emptying out 2 drawers that I have in my vanity. So I'm gonna start with this one, which has my bronzers over here, my highlighters, some random single shadows, as well as some like stacked eyeshadows. And again, my goal with this is not to just get rid of stuff for the sake of getting rid of stuff. That's not the point of this. I just don't want to have so much clutter sort of overflowing in the drawers. So I'm going to be getting rid of stuff just to make it a little bit more condensed and organized. So I'm going to start over here with the eyeshadows that are sort of a mishmash. The first thing I know I'm going to be getting rid of is kind of sad, because my brother did just get this for me for Christmas, but I don't really wear neutral eyeshadows that much, and if I do, I have a ton of other palettes to reach for. So sadly, I'm going to be getting rid of this Kiko quad. It was part of their holiday collection. It's the Party Time eyeshadow quad, and unfortunately that one's gonna have to go. It was a really thoughtful present for my brother, especially since he doesn't really, you know, follow the makeup world, so sadly gonna be getting rid of that one. I have a whole pile of Makeup Geek pigments here, which I have just realized that it's not really great keeping them in here, because I press these and I use the ones in the pressed format first, but because there's so much excess product left over, I've still got these pots. I'm going to be moving these to another section so I can pull all of these out. And in fact, just to show you, I'm going to throw them in this container that's usually reserved for my glitter and just keep them in there. This section lives sort of on the bookcase that's behind me, and I keep all my pigments and glitters in that, so this is a much better space for them. Okay, now I've got a little bit more space to work with here. Some more Makeup Geek pigments I'm going to move into that other section. Actually, there's a ton of pigments in here. I didn't realize that. I'm gonna pull all of these out. I do have some MAC shadows here that I could potentially depot, which is something I prefer to do overall, but my MAC palettes are actually full at the moment, so I'm not gonna depot these. I'm just gonna keep them in here for now. Okay, so I've reorganized the sort of single shadows, which actually span over here as well. Those are a bunch of MAC mineralized eyeshadows. I reach for these very infrequently, but some of these colors are quite special to me, so I'm perfectly happy to keep them on hand. They are more organized now, so I much prefer that. Now I'm going to move over to the highlighter section. This is an area that is quite large for me. It's sort of this, and then there's some spill out into the bronzers. So I need to condense this, and I'm going to start that by getting rid of something that's been around for a very long time. You guys remember this? This is Dior's Amber Diamonds, and I feel like this was the original highlighter kind of thing. Everybody was using this on YouTube back in the day, and I've held on to it because it feels special to me, but I don't reach for it. I might have used this twice in the last 5 years, so it's really just time to get rid of it, especially since the glow on this is not that impressive compared to everything else that I have now. So sadly, Dior Amber Diamonds is gonna go. Things I'm definitely not getting rid of are these Stila putty-like highlighters. These are beautiful. I love these so much. I also really like this Annabelle Perfect Glow highlighter. Oh, the glare off of that ring light. This one is kind of a golden highlighter, and it's beautiful. Easily available at Canadian drugstores. One that I'm kind of torn on is this one by Hard Candy. I've had this for a very long time, and it's honestly one of the best highlighters that the drugstore has ever put out. So I don't really want to get rid of it, because Hard Candy has not released a highlighter nearly as good as this one. So I think for now I'm just going to keep this one. One that I am going to get rid of is hiding in my bronzer area over here. It's one by Becca, and this kind of breaks my heart because I really love Becca highlighters, but I do not find that I reach for this Year of the Pig highlighter at all. The color is nice, it works on my pale skin, it gives a soft glow, but it's not especially reflective. And I have enough soft highlighters in my collection that I don't need to have a whole like wad of them. It's just unnecessary. So I know somebody else will be quite happy to own this one. I have enough Becca highlighters that I don't feel like I need to collect all of them, especially ones that I just don't reach for as much. I have a bunch of Wet n Wild highlighters over here. These are glorious. I will never get rid of those, even though the packaging is excessively bulky. Got a MAC Iridescent Silver Dusk here. I will definitely be keeping that. A Tarte one, another Becca, a Too Faced one that honestly, it's funny, it takes so much space that I'd want to get rid of it. But this is a beautiful color, and not enough people talk about these Love Light highlighters. This is a unique shade for me. I don't have anything quite this sort of rose gold. Okay, I need to face facts. I need to get rid of this highlighter. This one hurts me so much. And the reason for that is because it's from Too Faced, which means I just sort of automatically love it. And it's the rainbow highlighter. But this does not look very good on the skin. I mean, it's an okay highlighter, but it's got flakes of glitter in it, but it forms hard pan immediately on contact, which is frustrating. And the rainbow effect, you do not really get it with any kind of application unless you do go super intensely with a massive flat brush. So I never reach for this, even though it just is fun to look at. So I need to get rid of this thing because it's sitting here being absolutely pointless. So with that, I can move two other highlighters over that have been sitting in the bronzer area. One is this Wet n Wild Mega Glow highlighting powder in Winter Falls in LA. This one I thought was not going to be that unique because I have quite a few like off-color highlighters that are in palettes in another area. But there's something about the tone of this bluey green that is different than all of the other ones that I have, so I definitely want to keep that. And then this one, I don't necessarily know if I need it, but I want to try it out for the summertime. It's NYX's A Bit Jelly Gel Illuminator, and it's okay as a face highlighter. It's quite pretty, but I want to try this on my body throughout like the summer months and just see how that looks. And it's quite jello-y, like it moves around quite a bit. So I'm gonna hold on to that for a little while. It doesn't really fit in the highlighter area, so I guess it's still gonna live in the bronzer section. Another highlighter I'm gonna get rid of is this mini of the Too Faced Unicorn Tears highlighter. It came in like the Unicorn Survival Kit that they had out might be only 1 year ago. Anyway, I have this in the Life's a Festival palette, so I don't need a replication of the shade. And honestly, I find this to be a little bit chalky. It just kind of comes off kind of not smoothly. It blends into the skin just fine, but I don't find myself reaching for this mini pan, and I have a larger size in that palette anyway, so I'm gonna get rid of this one. Okay, for bronzers, I don't want to do a whole lot of damage here because I have really culled my bronzer collection over time. So I want to keep mostly everything that's in here except for one product, and that's this one by Too Faced. So this is the Sweethearts bronzer. It's their Baked Luminous Glow bronzer. And the packaging is really bulky, first of all, but I don't actually find the tones in here are that flattering. They are more cool toned than most bronzers, which I would find myself generally attracted towards, but there's something about this one that I don't find myself reaching for, and I think it's partially to do because of the packaging. It's so big, and the fact that it's actually quite, not necessarily shimmery, although it looks shimmery in the pan. It just comes across as a little bit more satin shimmer than I want in a bronzer, so I mean, I love Too Faced and feel like I want to keep all the stuff that I have by them, but this one is just, I don't reach for it, so it's gotta find a new home. Okay, so that is it for this drawer. I think I did pretty good. It's more organized now. There's more space to move things around. I don't necessarily want to add more in here. I just want to be able to get to products easily. So this drawer is done. I'm wearing absolutely filthy, junky clothing for this. I hope you enjoy. Okay, next drawer is my blush drawer, as well as a bunch of eyelashes that I'm currently using. Eyelashes I'm not gonna touch. These are very organized. These are only the current ones that I am reaching for, so I'm happy with this area. I do wanna pick through the blushes though, because there is some stuff that I don't find I'm reaching for and there's no point keeping it. Number one is this Charlotte Tilbury blush. I wanted to love this and it's fine, but I find the packaging so enormous that it doesn't actually sit that well in here. And maybe that's a stupid reason for getting rid of a blush, but hey, that's my reason. And I have other colors like this too, which is the other thing. So I'm gonna rehome this one and just get rid of it. Okay, you know, I was just going through here trying to figure out things that I didn't use, and there's honestly not a lot. I don't really buy a lot of blush because I find like my collection in general covers all of my bases. I pretty much have every shade that I wear and love, but there is one in here, aside from that Charlotte Tilbury one, that I just don't reach for, and it's another bulky packaging one from Too Faced. So this is the Perfect Flush Blush, part of the Sweethearts line in Sparkling Bellini. And it's a pretty looking product, but I don't reach for it, mostly because it is quite shimmery on the face. And I don't go for blushes that are very sparkly because I just don't feel like they're that flattering. If I want to add shimmer or sparkle onto my face, I'll use a highlighter, so I don't love it in my blushes. And I have not reached for this in a long time. And in fact, I've decluttered other blushes that are very similar to this one just because I don't reach for them. So I'm gonna get rid of this one, and hopefully somebody else will enjoy this. So that was it for the blushes. That was pretty easy to get through just because, like I said, I don't tend to keep more than what I use for blushes. I know this is excessive. That's a lot of blushes, but they're all shades that I reach for pretty consistently, so I'm pretty happy about that. So next I have a unit here that is pretty condensed again. I mention this all the time, but I really do declutter quite frequently. So there's not a lot I want to get rid of, but I know there are a few products lurking in here that are just unnecessary for me. So I'm going to pull them out and we're going to go through them. We're going to start with this bottom drawer, which has a whole bunch of liquid highlighter, which again is not something that I reach for that frequently. I just reviewed the Mary Kay illuminating drops, and I do really enjoy these, but there's two shades that I know I'm not going to be reaching for. So I'm going to keep one, which is this kind of golden color. It's Golden Horizon, but I'm going to get rid of the other two, which are more of a pinky one, and then this bronze one is never going to suit my skin tone, so I'm going to get rid of these two. I have a bunch of different colored lip colors that I don't normally reach for sitting over here, so I'm going to keep those because they are for more like special occasions or if I want something a little bit different. But I am going to get rid of this highlighting stick over here. This is by Too Faced. It's part of their unicorn collection, that Life's a Festival one. This is fine. It's actually quite nice, but I do not reach for stick products that often in a highlighter format. So I'm just going to get rid of that one. The one stick highlighter that I love the most would be Benefit What's Up. This is wonderful. This was a baby sample size from like the birthday set that Sephora was giving out years ago. I wear this thing all the time and I'm not even halfway done. Love this one to pieces, so that's going nowhere. That's it for this drawer, I think. There wasn't a whole lot I wanted to get rid of, just some excess stuff I don't reach for very often. So I'm gonna put that one away and grab the next drawer. Now, this has fun colored eyeliners. So these are all from Suva Beauty. They're their Hydro liners. Love those, not getting rid of them. Same thing with the Tarte gel liners. Those are fantastic, not getting rid of them. These are my only two concealers and I will be keeping these. I don't wear them very frequently, but if I do need a concealer, they're there. What I do need to go through here though is these lip liners. I do not wear lip liners. Most of these have been sent to me, so I just need to kind of declutter them. I use a lip brush if I need a precise lip line, so these are kind of pointless to me. I am going to keep Brick though, because I bought this one ages ago and I do find that this is helpful for altering some lip colors, so I'm going to keep that. The Bite ones have got to go. I hate these, sadly. They were discounted like half off on Sephora's website because I just don't think people are buying them because the caps are so bad. Oh, geez. They either stick on forever and you can't get them off, or they fall off all the time. Like, these are just a disaster waiting to happen if you're somebody who carries a handbag. So these are a huge no for me. I'm just gonna get rid of them. And here I've got some more like nude lip liners. Boldly Bare, I did really enjoy that one by MAC, so I'm gonna keep that. Just keep two MAC liners. One's a nude, one's a red, that should be okay. This one by Clarins, don't need it, haven't used it in years. And then this Essence one, I had thought that it would be great for doing dark lip colors, but again, I just use a lip primer and a lip brush for lipstick now. So there's no real point for me to keep lip liner, so I'm getting rid of them. I'm not gonna get rid of anything in the next few drawers, but I just wanted to show you what's in them. This is my Stila Glitter and Glow trove, I guess you could say, with one Too Faced glitter over there. This next one has all of my daily use items, so liquid liner, mascara, primers, eyebrow products, lash glue. This one has all of my fun colored eyeliners. These are all ones that I pretty much only use on my waterline, so I'm keeping all of those. This next one has all of my glitter liners. Love it intensely. I'm definitely not getting rid of any of those. And the next one is a lip gloss pile and sort of like pen style lip products. I'm not getting rid of any of these because I do reach for them occasionally, albeit quite seldomly, but I've curtailed this quite a bit just because I know I'm not much of a gloss person. Okay, so I just sort of rifled through my palettes. There's one shelf here, one shelf up there, and then there's a few more down there. And I've kind of chosen a few palettes that I just want to get rid of because I don't reach for them quite a lot. So the first one I'm going to talk about here is the Kat Von D Shade and Light Eye Palette. This is the Rust Quad. I've been so turned off by her ever since all that Vax stuff that I just... First of all, I don't reach for this very much, if even in the last 2 years, really. And the colors are not that unique, so I'm going to get rid of this one. Next one is this Too Faced Glitter Bomb Palette. I just talked about this recently in... Was it Disappointing Products? Something like that. I just find this to be so useless to me. They're not that glittery really, and they're kind of shimmery, but they're hard to work with. I know people have offered suggestions on how to use it, but like I have plenty of glitter that I can use instead of these, so I'm just gonna get rid of this one. Next up is one that kind of breaks my heart. This one is by CoverGirl, and this is their True Naked Dazed palette. And I picked this up because I thought this was amazing to see a palette at the drugstore that was very rainbow toned, and I wanted to be able to include it in like my bright eyeshadow palette recommendations. But I don't love this thing. I find that the colors are very strange overall. Like some of them are quite bright. The orange is, the yellow is, the blue is, but then you get this like almost hunter green here and this sapphire blue, which in essence are quite pretty, but I just found they didn't really all work together very well as a singular palette. So I would not recommend this one overall. I'd go for a more bright NYX palette if you're looking for something that's a little bit more colorful or rainbow-esque. This one is just strange. Also, this color, not a red. That's basically a pink. And another one that I'm getting rid of is this Tarte Tarteist Pro Remix palette. I wanted to love this thing, to be honest, and I do think it's a good palette. I find the colors are quite nice, but I find there's too much shimmer overall, and that kind of makes me annoyed because there's so many great colors in here that would have worked beautifully as a matte shadow. This purple here could have been a matte. This graffiti color over here, the red one, could have also been a matte. And I find it very difficult to work with this palette when you've only got 2 matte shadows. One is a gray mid-tone brown, a brow bone highlight shade on my skin tone, and then a black. Like, I don't feel there's enough variety amongst the shadows in terms of mattes and shimmers. There's just too much shimmer overall. I did review it and I came up with quite a few eyeshadow looks that I enjoyed, but for me this isn't a palette I gravitate towards just because there's too much shimmer. And even though I like a lot of these colors, I have all of these colors in other palettes that are more cohesive for me. So I'm just gonna get rid of this one. I don't think it's a bad purchase. If you really like shimmer over matte, I think you'll really enjoy this, but for me this just isn't a winner. Okay, so this right here is everything that I am getting rid of. It equals out to 21 products, which is a nice chunk for me. Again, I keep my collection very condensed, so I don't tend to have too many superfluous products in it. These are just the ones that are not making me happy, and I don't see a point in keeping them in my collection. So that's what I'm gonna be putting in my swap bag. My friends and family get the benefit of everything that I declutter, so I'm sure they'll be happy to see some of these products. All right, that's gonna be it for this video. Thank you so much for joining me on this sort of spring cleaning decluttering of my makeup collection. Thanks so much to Sam for giving me the idea to do this, and I will hopefully see you guys all next time. Bye!